Welcome to Red Pill Revolution. My name is Austin Adams. Red Pill Revolution started out with me realizing everything that I knew, everything that I believed, everything I interpret about my life is through the lens of the information I was spoon-fed as a child. Religion, politics, history, conspiracies, Hollywood, medicine, money, food, all of it. Everything we know was tactfully written to influence your decisions and your view on reality by those in power. Now, I'm on a mission to retrain and re-educate myself, to find the true reality of what is behind that curtain, and I'm taking your ass with me. Welcome to the revolution. Hello and welcome to the third episode of Red Pill Revolution. My name is Austin Adams, and I'm really excited to talk about this topic today. It's one that I think I've personally struggled with. I've seen family struggle with it. I've seen friends struggle with it. And I think as a nation, we're struggling with it. And I really don't think it's something that we are even ready to address, at least on a national scale. But it's something that I think we've been so far programmed, so deeply programmed that we don't even know that it's there. And it's in our decision making. It affects our relationships. It consumes us with anxiety. And it really gives us a false sense of purpose for life. And that topic is the never-ending search for happiness through consumerism. And this topic is a really interesting one because I think it's one that's rooted in history, but so venomously affecting modern society. And I don't even think very many people know the history of it. And it's not one that I'm too far familiar with myself, but I know a little bit about it and enough to speak on it to give you guys an idea. But before we do that, I need you to do this one little thing for me. I need you to like and subscribe to this channel. I need you to share this to whoever you know. And I need you to go to ichoose.red. .com is for losers. ichoose.red. And sign up for my newsletter. I'm going to be keeping you guys updated. I'm going to be pushing out all of the articles that I referenced there. I'm going to be putting out a weekly newsletter about the topics that we discuss, and it will keep you updated moving forward. I appreciate you guys so much. Like, subscribe, share. Let's start this revolution together. So I think the easiest way to look at modern consumerism is the turn of the 19th century, right? So it's like the very beginning of the Industrial Revolution. It's the turn of, World War I. It's the same time as, similar timing later on as the Great Depression, and then World War II, and then again, the World War II thing is such a theme in our society, and the shifts that were made in our culture, and our government, and our politics, and our societal belief systems. And this is just one of them. But throughout that turn, you'll see that with that Industrial Revolution, that we started to produce a lot more products than we had people who wanted them. And so you'll see that also modern advertising came around the same time to push this ideology that, ever heard of the term keeping up with the Joneses? It just means you want to have what other people have. And it's a constant never-ending search to, if you're lower, a lesser income individual, to be searching for middle class. And if you're middle class, to be searching for upper class. And if you're upper class, to be searching for wealth. And to be constantly looking at that person who has a little bit more than you, a little bit nicer car, a 1 year newer iPhone, the nicer baby stroller, if you're me, a nicer rifle, whatever that thing is for you. You always want the next best thing, and I'm so guilty of this. And you can justify it through the justifications we've been given that, the the product's better made. And, there's one term that you'll see throughout, what really affected modern consumerism is planned obsolescence. And planned obsolescence is an idea from companies that they basically, and you're probably familiar with the idea, but not familiar with the term. And the idea that you can use a modern example of would be iPhones, right? You don't need to replace your iPhone every year, but for some reason, a ton of people do it, whether it's for the new color, whether it's for 2 better megapixels on the camera. There's a reason, there's a justifiable idea that we have for getting that phone, but there's really no reason for it, right? The phone that you works perfectly fine, right? But you want that next best thing constantly. And that's a programming that we were given. That's not our fault, right? From the time that we were little, we were watching TV shows with commercials telling us what toys to buy and what cereal to eat. And we were, at school looking at the kids' shoes and wanting the new Nikes. And, it's something so far ingrained in our culture and so deeply programmed into us that to try to fix this takes a massive, massive effort, because it's not only seeped its way into our idea of social status, but it's seeped its way into our ideas of success, right? And success now is completely defined by the amount of money you make. It used to be that somebody who was in politics and made not a very good amount of money, or somebody who was a police officer, or somebody who was a firefighter, or somebody who was a lawyer, or took a political position out of wanting to help the people, or was a school teacher, were much more highly thought of than they are today. And the reason for that is because we value money and income more than anything else, right? And you'll hear this phrase, it's not how much you make, it's how you made it. And I think that really holds true, because I'm somebody who I come from a background in insurance sales, and I had a team of insurance agents, and I would teach them how to sell and make great money doing it. But I found very little fulfillment in it, because I think in order to be successful in any business like that, you have to do it under the context of you have to play the game. You have to not only understand that your idea of success is monetary, but you also have to preach that to other people so that that's what they want success to look like too. And when I would bring people in, you'd have the nice watch, you'd have the nice car, you'd have the brand new, shoes and Magnanis and Rolexes and Mercedes, and it was all to put on this show to make that person who is in a position where they wanted a job to want to be like you, right? And they didn't know anything about my family at this time. They didn't know anything about my personality. They didn't know anything about my intelligence, my ability to mentor them, my ability to train them, or my moral compass, or they knew nothing of that. But we were taught to put on this show that this is what you want to be like. And by doing that, we incentivized people to work longer shifts than they normally would have. We incentivized them to work longer, to make more calls than they normally would have. And the idea was that they wanted to make the money like I made it. And my idea was that I wanted to make the money like my manager made it. And that manager's idea was that they wanted to make money like the regions made it. And the region's idea was that they wanted to make money like the owners and CEOs made it. And it's this constant never-ending want. And that want leaves you empty. There's no good that comes from seeking money, because money itself is such a fictitious idea. The idea of money, it's not even that we value money, it's that we value success. And today's success is the constant, never-ending stream of new things. Right? And I think we have to define, in order to be happy in today's modern world, you have to sit down and have a very real conversation with yourself. It's like, what does success mean to me? And I've recently battled with this, and I just getting out of that insurance industry that was very somewhat toxic for my mentality on success and happiness. I always thought success meant getting to a certain place in life and having a certain amount of money in the bank and having a certain watch and having a certain car and having certain vacations and a certain look on Instagram. And it's something that I made a lot of money, and it was empty. And to have pursued such an empty goal for so long was a difficult thing to wrestle with. And so I redefined happiness for myself, and I took some time off, and luckily I had the financial ability to do so. And I tried to find what would make me happy. Like what would make me feel fulfilled? And what would I do on a day-to-day basis if money didn't matter? And to me, that ended up being spending time with my kids. That ended up being, going and doing the things that I love, like jujitsu, and also, making a difference through speaking how I feel, right? And that was something that I enjoyed a part of the business that I was in before, was bringing in people and mentoring them and telling them about the industry and teaching them about sales and teaching them how to become successful. And something that I am pre-programming myself to value is the idea of spreading moral success and spreading moral mentorship, and personally unraveling the knot of my life by finding out more about history. And so what I decided to do was to figure out what I was good at. I sat down and I wrote down some of the qualities that I possessed, some of the things that I was given naturally. And some of those things were, being able to speak well and being able to present an idea very clearly to people and not being afraid of audiences, and also impacting people through research. And so, I decided to go back to school. I utilizing my GI Bill to go back to college after I was an air traffic controller in the military. And now I decided, after getting out, going through being in the insurance business for 5 years or so, I'm going back to school to go to law school. And philosophy is something I'm passionate about. And so I'm pursuing that. And at the same time, I'm figuring out more about myself. I'm figuring out more about what it means to be happy in today's world. And I'm doing that at the same time of letting go of that idea of that success being completely tied to finances. And this is something that I was ingrained with throughout, I think, in my childhood, that success always meant money, because there wasn't a lot of it, an overwhelming a lot of it in my childhood. And I saw, the difficulties that my parents struggled with. And so it's not like money's the root of all evil. It's like, you have to have a certain level of it. You have to have a certain income level to provide for your family in a modern society. And obviously that takes hard work and consistency and goal-driven action on a day-to-day basis. And that's, there's nothing wrong with that. And you have to have a certain level of that, because if you don't have any money, you're not shielded from life's difficulties. Right? If you have a medical bill, it's the end of the fucking world. If you have, you get pulled over and you got to pay a ticket and you can't pay that ticket, and now you got another ticket, and now you got called into court, but you can't pay for a lawyer, and now you end up in jail. It's like this never-ending cycle. So you have to have a certain level of financial success to allow you to find yourself. And luckily that's where I'm at now. But I think you have, there's a way to get there without having to fully pursue that monetary success in the first place. And I think that's by having a very real conversation with yourself, with your family, and sitting down and defining what success looks like for you. Is that success look like consistent time with your family and spending time doing fun things that maybe don't cost a bunch of money, but do cost some mental effort on your side? Good question to ask yourself is, would you rather be young and poor or rich and old, right? And I think that really can define what the value is in each. It's like the time that you can spend on yourself and in your young, healthy body doing fun things that you're never going to have the ability to do. Being 60 and having $5 million doesn't mean you can go rock climbing in the desert. You know, if that's something that you wanted to do, it doesn't mean that you can immediately go run a marathon. All it means is you're really just shielded from some of the malevolence in life, and you're stuck in the matrix, right? Because if you have that money, then all of your friends probably have that money too. And you have to perpetuate this belief system that money is happiness, because if you don't, and you don't feel fulfilled at that point, that you have all this money and you've worked so hard to get there, 80 hours a week for 35, 50 years to get to that position, or 40 years to get to that position. Now you're 40 years later, you have everything that you worked for, your definition of what you thought success would be, and now you feel empty. It's like, that's scary, right? Why give up 30, 40 years of your life for the hopes of happiness when happiness is never going to be found in something, right? And I think there's a really good Terence McKenna quote that kind of puts these things in perspective, and like how we view success and how we, this idea of consumption at whatever cost to find value. So Terence McKenna said this. See, he said, "We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR. Create your own roadshow. The nexus of space and time where you are now the most immediate sector of your universe. And if you're worrying about Michael Jackson or Bill Clinton or somebody else, then you are disempowered. You're giving it all away to icons. Icons which are maintained by an electronic media so that you want to dress like X. Or you want to have lips like Y, which is funny with all life is today in the female society. This is shit-brained, this kind of thinking. This is all cultural diversion. And what is real is you and your friends and your associations and your highs and your orgasms and your hopes and your plans and your fears. And we are told, no, we're unimportant. You're peripheral. Get a degree, get a job, get a this, get a that, and then you're a player. You don't even want to play in that game. You want to reclaim your mind and get it out of the hands of the cultural engineers who want to turn you into a half-baked moron consuming all this trash that's being manufactured out of the bones of a dying world. Damn. It's like, you really almost need to break that down. And so what I think it's saying is, like, the Matrix, right? That idea of the procured life, right? By, and that's mentioned in the idea of cultural engineers. And I said that before, we've been programmed to think this way. So deeply ingrained in our modern society is the idea of consumerism. And the only way to escape that is to not play the game. It's like the way that we define success today is by having a nice fucking high rise in Miami and having an Aston Martin sitting in the fucking the parking lot below that you get to go walk down to and drive at fucking 6 a.m. and go to your job that you hate to afford the shit that you think that you want so that you can appear to be a certain person. So fuck that, dude. It's like, in today's world, the end goal should be like self-reliance, complete self-reliance. Like, get a decent sized house on a big ass piece of land, get some, have a water source, have the ability to provide for your family without the need of the playing the game of those cultural engineers. Like, you want to reclaim your mind and get out of the hands of the culture engineers who want to turn you into a half-baked moron, consuming all the trash that's being manufactured out of the bones of a dying world. It's all to take you away from this idea that you don't have to play their game, right? You don't have to you don't have to want the high rise in Miami. You can want a decent sized house on a plot of land and have the same fucking clothes to wear every day and a nice enough car to get you where you need to go so you can do the things that you enjoy doing and then stop playing the game. Create your own roadshow, the nexus of space where you are now the most immediate sector of your universe. Without worrying about Michael Jackson or Bill Clinton or Kim Kardashian or Caitlyn Jenner or fucking politics. Create a universe where you're happy doing the things that you want to do, where you don't have to play the cultural games. Like play it with the end goal in mind, that as soon as you can fucking get out of it, the whole point of the game is to get out of the game. The whole point of understanding you've been programmed is to unprogram yourself and get into a program-free life, right? Get to a point where you don't need to be endlessly consuming. You don't need to be endlessly running towards money to fuel that consumption, right? It's not even just the consumption of money, or it's the consumption of entertainment. It's the consumption of Netflix and news and Facebook and social media, and this world has been so curated for you, and we've all fallen for every trap of it. Not only the money trap, not only the fame trap or the success trap or the entertainment trap or the free time trap or all of these things are designed to suck you away from understanding that the power lies with you and your family and the people that you surround yourself with and your true happiness of the things that you enjoy doing. All of this, the evil of consumerism was planned, would never have been able to so ingrain itself in our culture without the use of financial leverage of the banks. So when you realize that consumerism is the goal and debt is the vehicle and you are the victim, you are just a number, a social security number that they look at to push the consumption of their products, to make them more money, to give them and further pursue this idea of success. And so I think a better way to think about it is to redefine how we view our day-to-day lives, redefine why we go to work, redefine why we do our jobs. And I don't know if this is everybody, because I know there are some people who chose their given career field out of the way that it makes them feel, but I don't think that's most people. Right? I think there's a lot of people, especially in sales. Sales is a really venomous trap for people who are financially motivated or programmed to think that success is only specifically finances. And this goes back to the saying of it's not what you make or how much you made, it's how you made it. Right? It's like, where did those dollars come from? And where did you spend those dollars? If you make a bunch of money and then you go give it to Walmart and Amazon, you're perpetuating this idea. So not only should we be thinking of where is our money coming from and what is the energy that comes with that money, right? How do you feel about the money you made? Was it made rightfully? Did you feel good about how you made that money? Does it make you sleep better at night knowing that you helped somebody with that? Or did you make it off the backs of manipulation? Or did you make it off of the backs of perpetuating negative ideas that are going to further seed themselves in the people that you put them in and cause negative outcomes? So there's two sides of it. It's like you have to address first, where are you making your money? Are you making it from something that's fulfilling? Are you making it from something that makes you feel good? Or are you making it from something that you think may make you feel good in the future as a result of the amount that you're making from it? Because what you're going to find is it's never going to be enough. You're always going to need to make more, because the second that you make a six-figure income, you're going to need to make a multiple six-figure income, because as you make more money, your expenses go up. And when you make a multiple six-figure income, you're going to need to make a seven-figure income because now you're around the real wealthy people. And they make you feel like shit because all you're driving is that nice new Mercedes. And now he's got an Aston Martin and that new Miami high-rise we were talking about, right? So it's a constantly perpetuating cycle. And you have to fucking cut the head off of that snake yourself. And it doesn't feel good initially. But overall, it's going to be what's best for you. It's going to be what's best for your relationships. And it's going to be what's best for your family. So figure out what it is that would make you feel fulfilled in making that money. It's not about how much you're making it. It's about how you made it, where that came from, and how that making that money makes you feel. And then there's that other side of it, right? Not only cut off the head, but cut off the tail. Are you perpetuating this idea of consumerism? Are you feeding big box corporations who have a bottom line, or are you giving your money to mom and pop shops? Are you shopping at Kroger and consuming shit food constantly, or are you going to the farmer's market and getting something that's truly nourishing for you physically? And not only that, but you're giving one of the best things I love about going to the farmer's market is handing cash to a farmer, directly to a farmer. Not to a cashier who then hands it to a manager, who then hands it to a security company, who then takes it to a bank, who gives it to the bank, who puts it into a savings account, who puts it into their own investments for their own bottom line. And then, no, fuck that. I give it to a farmer who takes it home, and then he gives it to another farmer so that he can feed his family. And that's cutting off the head and cutting off the tail. And that's the end goal. Don't perpetuate this cycle. Don't perpetuate this idea that success means that you have to fucking sell your soul for a Miami high-rise. Fuck that. The end goal is self-sustainability. The end goal is happiness. The end goal is not just financial freedom, but personal freedom. Time. Would you rather be old and rich or young and poor? And I'll take young and poor every fucking day because I have more time to spend. I have more time to spend with my family. I have more time to spend on myself. I have more time to spend on being there for people, like more time to give people personally that may affect their lives positively, which will come back around and allow me to have more positive relationships. It's like, yeah, I could give those hours to fucking Mark Zuckerberg and write code that's going to fucking tear down the democracy. Or I can make fucking bracelets that I love making, maybe. I don't know. Whatever it is that you do that fulfills you, and find a fucking community that's out there that wants to further perpetuate this idea that the end goal is not consumerism. The end goal is fulfillment. Not the idea that you may someday have fulfillment, but finding fulfillment today. And because you have fulfillment today, knowing that at any given fucking second, if I die, I did what I could to reach fulfillment now and not push it off until I'm 55 years old or 65 years old. And I'm not saying go spend your fucking money frivolously and party all you want. I'm saying put your money away. Stop buying the brand new fucking Yeezys. Don't buy that planned obsolescence from iPhones. Stop playing the game. Go home, spend some time with your family, write down your goals, figure out what it is that would find you true fulfillment. And if you're 45, 50 years old and you're listening to this right now and you're waking the fuck up and going, this isn't what I thought it would look like, right? I spent all these years working so hard and I didn't get the outcome that I was hoping for. I'm not financially successful. I'm not wealthy. Fuck that. You didn't lose the game. The game was fucking rigged. Don't play the game anymore. Find fulfillment today. Do things you enjoy. Spend time with your family, right? Go on a fucking walk. Read a book. Go back to school. Find a topic that gives you fulfillment and give everything you can to that. Because knowing that whether I die at 35 years old or 29 years old or 65 years old or 150 fucking years old, regardless if that's today or 50 years down the road, I will know that I did what I could today to find fulfillment now and not pushing that off for some idea that was given to me by corporations who wanted to take advantage of me so that they could make their billions. And I think you'll find that your relationships improve. I think you'll find that your depression may start to dissolve. I think that you'll find that you'll have more energy, because when you wake the fuck up and go to some soul-sucking job because you want possibly this fucking what is it, slot machine where you spin it enough times, maybe hopefully someday you'll fucking win some money. But in the meantime, what you don't realize is the algorithms are made so that they make more than you no matter what. And that's the same thing with modern corporations. Don't play the game. If you enjoy being a great fucking salesman, start your own company, start it from scratch, find a product that you fucking love, that you know is going to positively impact the people that you're working with, and then go find everybody in the world that you can give it to. Don't go work at some fucking, I don't know, bullshit sales career because you want to find fulfillment through an idea that was pushed to you by fucking Amazon of what success looks like, or by Instagram, or by some fucking fake ass 22-year-old who rented a Lamborghini for a day to make you feel like shit about yourself enough to buy his fucking program. Let's find another quote. Jesus. So here's a good one. It says, let's see. So, what's great about this country is America started the tradition where the richest consumers buy essentially the same things as the poorest. You can be watching TV and see a Coca-Cola, and you can know that the president drinks Coke. Kim Kardashian drinks Coke. And just think, you too can drink Coke. A Coke is a Coke, and no amount of money can get you a better Coke than the bum on the corner is drinking. All the Cokes are the same, and all the Cokes are good. That was Andy Warhol on Consumerism. And I think that's interesting because it's like the percentage, the minuscule percentage improvements between modern middle class and modern wealth is very little compared to what it used to be. Like if you were fucking poor in 1855, yeah, your shit sucked, dude. You were fucking shitting in the woods. You were going and hunting your own food. You were starving half the fucking time. Your kids were underweight. Your house was fucking had damn dirt floors if you were lucky enough to have a house. But if you were wealthy, there was a huge difference, like fucking crazy difference in the way that you lived your life. But today it's like it's such a small, minuscule percentage difference of the quality of life that you live. You know, the fucking guy on the side of the road who's got a cardboard sign asking you for money has an iPhone in his pocket. You know, the same iPhone the president does, the same iPhone Mark Zuckerberg has, the same iPhone Jeff fucking Bezos has, right? And maybe that's a guy on the side of the road's a bad idea if he doesn't go home to a house, but a lot of them may, right? And so the house that you have today, the modern home and the modern mansion, both usually keep their heat in the winter. They both usually have carpet on the floors if you want it. You know, and so a Coke's a Coke, right? Whether you're the president, whether you're Jeff fucking Bezos, or whether you're Austin Adams shooting a podcast in your fucking basement, right? And so I think it's, but it's hard to make that point drive home. And it's like you're still watching the same game if you paid for the $30 tickets or the $100 tickets. Now the $100 tickets are a little bit more exciting, right? Maybe you can afford a fucking jet ski. but you're still at the game, right? It's like you still get the Coke. You still get to appreciate, you know, television. You don't have to have a 55-inch or a 150-inch projector to appreciate a movie. And the amount of time that you're going to spend giving up your life and your happiness and your energy and your your like life force to go into getting that 150-inch projector screen movie room over a 50-inch TV that you bought from Best Buy for $200. It's not worth it, man. You know, you gave up so much more than you got out of it, and you were fucking duped. And you should have been spending that time on yourself. You should have been spending that time with your family, with your friends, with new hobbies or new experiences. So get the fuck out of it, man. Like get out of the matrix and realize that none of this is for you, right? None of this consumerism is positive for you or your family. It's going to put you in more debt. It's going to cause like 50% of divorces are caused by financial problems. And the whole goal is to keep you consuming, right? Consuming entertainment, consuming products, and trading all of that consumption for the real, the only thing with real value in life, and that's time. Let's see if I got anything else here for us. I think that's it, guys. You know, the goal is self-sufficiency. The goal is not the Miami high-rise. The goal is the nice fucking house on a plot of land where you get to, like, the American dream has been, you know, again, it's been hijacked. It's like they took this idea of what happiness could be, and the American idea of happiness and the homestead and being able to be self-sufficient, and they turned it into something that being completely reliant on the machine. And if the machine stops, so does your happiness, even though you never had it, right? You never had that happiness because it's a fictitious it's like this. It's like this is a great quote. I was watching the movie Soul with my daughter, and in the movie the guy goes and he wants to be a famous jazz musician, and he works his whole life to be a famous jazz musician, and he knew that once he got to that point it was going to make him happy and it was going to make him fulfilled. And he worked so hard to get there, and then somewhere along the line he lost that faith that he could do it, and he fucking died as a teacher. And but he came back to life somehow, right? There's a whole movie you should fucking watch. It's a great movie. But he died along the way, and he came back to life, and he finally got this opportunity to work with a famous jazz musician, and he did everything he wanted, and he killed it that night, and he put on a performance of a lifetime. And at the end of the night, he walked out of the bar, and he realized he reached his goal, and he wasn't happy. And he looked to the musician that he was working with now, and he said, "It just doesn't feel like I thought it would feel." And she said, "There's this old story about a fish. There's two fish. There's the old fish and the young fish. And the young fish comes up to the old fish. And the young fish says, 'I'm looking for something. I'm looking for this thing, and I know when I find it, it's going to make me happy. I'm looking for this thing.' And the old fish goes, 'What is it? Tell me what it is, and I'll help you find it.' And the young fish looks to the old fish, and the young fish says, 'I'm looking for the ocean. And I'm searching everywhere for it. And I can't find it.' And the old fish looks to the young fish, and the old fish says, 'Honey, it's called water. And it's all around us right now.' And the young fish looks at the old fish and goes, 'That's ridiculous,' and swims away. And what I took from that story is that when you're looking for happiness or you're searching for fulfillment through constructs, you'll never get it. You're never going to find the ocean, because the ocean is a construct. But water is all around you every day. Fulfillment is around you every day. And the ability to take advantage of that will only be clouded if you're always looking for the ocean. So, reevaluate your life. if this is something that you've struggled with, maybe it's time to sit down and have a real conversation with yourself and see are you doing something right now that's fulfilling for you? And are you spending your money in a way that is perpetuating this idea? Or are you spending your money in a way that's impacting other people who are searching or who are finding fulfillment in themselves and not through consumerism? So I hope that gave you some insight. It was a little bit different than the last few times. There was some good historical aspects of this that I think we could touch on another day. But I think this opens up a really good conversation. So if this is something you've struggled with, this is something you've dealt with, if this is something you're currently dealing with, or if any of this resonated for you, leave me a comment. Let me know. Find me on, you can leave comments on the Instagram page at Red Pill Revolt. Or go to YouTube and you can watch this through video. If you're on YouTube, go subscribe to the fucking podcasts through the channel. The website is ichoose.red. Go to ichoose.red.com is for losers, and subscribe. Would love to hear back some feedback from you guys on this episode. And another day, we'll get into a little bit about the history of modern consumerism, how we got there, who was a part of it, some of the disgusting pieces of modern advertising. And but for now, I think you got some good homework assignments. Have a great day, guys. I hope you took something from this, and I will see you soon. Bye.